quickly, we want to talk about pornography in marriage, the dangers. And I remember when we were talking about openness and secrecy. One of the things that we said was some men lock their phones, not because they cheat, but because they have some shitty stuffs on those phones they don't want their wives to see. And I can tell you, because of my interaction with a couple of people, say that one of those things that people hide, that partners hide desperately, are those shitty stuffs, the pornography sites that they visit. They don't want their wives, especially wives, to know, because this thing, men are mostly addicted to it. So they don't want their wives to see that, oh, I visit this site and that site. So they password their phones. They don't want their wives to see. And then when the wives realize that my husband is passwording his phone, she cannot understand. Ogbeni, open your phone now. He's wondering, why should I open my phone for you? After all, it's my phone. It belongs to me. Well, I can do whatever I want with it. And we have said over and over again, please, your phone does not belong to you. You cannot lock your phone. Yes, you want to have your privacy, but you signed up for marriage. And then the two of you have become one. How can one person hide from one person? It's difficult, right? But, so quickly, what do you think are the dangers of pornography in marriage, especially? Who wants to go first, please? Who wants to help us? Thank you, Mr. Hussaini. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Moti, do you want to go first? Tell us the danger of pornography in marriage from your perspective. I think your network is not friendly at all. Your network is not helping us. Your network is not friendly. But who else wants to help us? Mr. Hussaini, do you want to help us? The danger of pornography in marriage? I can see you smiling already. I'm going to be keeping track on time. So right now we have 19 more minutes. So please, quickly, the danger. What do you think in your perspective, the danger of pornography in marriage?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Loud and clear. We can hear you good.
So what I feel the dangers of pornography in marriage, I feel it will alter your view towards the wife. Because you may be expecting all the things you see in the pornography and you see it in your wife.
Yeah.
So it may alter your view towards her. That's my own little view about it.
That's very correct.
I think you can learn about it. Maybe you can learn about sex, maybe the sex positions, the various things, but pornography has a negative effect. That's what I believe.
All right. And on my list here, I have what you said now. I have it down as undue expectation. Because of the things that you have seen in pornography, in those movies, you feel like, why can't my wife do that one too? My wife should be able to do it, But, let me just add this to it, that undue expectation, pornography is a movie. Movies make believe. They want you to believe stuff, so they act them. So they are acting. You don't know what drugs that they have taken. Your wife is not on drug. Do you understand? Your husband is not on drug. And then you expect your wife or your husband to be doing those things. And then when they cannot meet up, you are hungry. You're hungry that, why can't my wife do this? Why can't my wife do that? Do you understand? But no, it brings undue expectations. Thank you, sir. Anyone else, please? Thank you, Mr. Abayomi, for joining us. Appreciate you. Anyone else, please? You need to unmute, yes. Thank you.
My hand.
Okay, please, go on.
You mean me?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. One of the, good evening, everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
okay, one of the dangers of porn is that it brings about competition in marriage. Because you now have to start competing and comparing your wife with people that are in the porn. So you start competing, you compare and contrast. Oh, my wife is not as sexy as this. Those ones have not given birth. You start looking at folds on your wife's body. And you're like, okay, my wife is supposed to be like this. Like you mentioned earlier, some of them are even on drugs. Your wife is just taking water and probably Martina, and you expect her to be doing all the wonderful gymnastics. Is not possible.
It's not.
So when you continue viewing of porn, we erode the trust that's been built in your marriage until it is gone completely if you're not careful. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You know, when I
Hello.
saw that, yes.
Yes, this is Ayamodo.
Oh, fantastic! Now your network is very good. Now, please contribute.
Yes. Another one point I want to make is that most men that are addicted to pornography, when they only need to watch porn before they can have sexual feeling or erection. So it goes along to affect their sexual performance. If they don't see nakedness in movie, all of that, they may not have reason to have erection, and that can kill their drive for sexual satisfaction of their partners.
Thank you very much. That's very correct. Because of addiction, they've gotten so addicted to it, something that they have done for many years. You know, they just get stuck. So without viewing it once, they cannot have erection, and without erection, direction is lacking. Anyone else who wants to help us? Mr. Yabayomi, I can see you. You wanna speak to us? Do you want to contribute? The dangers of pornography in marriage. We've talked about how it is one of the things that men desperately hide. It is one of the reasons why men lock their phones. They lock their phones from their wives because they don't want their wives to see the sites that they visit, you know? And then it brings cracks. It's one of the things that I wrote down, you know? It brings cracks into your marriage, you know, unrealistic expectation, undue comparison, like Fish said, and you begin to compare your wife to porn stars and feel like if it's not a woman, if she can do that, why can't my wife do that? And because your wife cannot do that, you're looking for a woman that will do that. Excuse me, you are going to need to meet Pamela Anderson to be able to, you know, and then you'll be disappointed by the time you meet her in person. The same way you see your movie stars and you see that, and this person is not like the way she used to be in movies now. That's movies for you. They make beliefs, you know, their actions, they are scripted events. They're not real. But your wife is real. Your husband is real. You cannot afford to compare your wife to the people that you see in those pornography. And another thing is it leads to drug intake. It leads to drug intake because of your quest to be able to perform like the movie stars in those pornography. You know, you want to begin to take some sexual enhancements and begin to do some stuffs that are not sane for the mind. And then before you know it, you are going to be too stuck to be able to even pull out. And then it's going to lead to addiction. So from taking drugs to be able to do, we saw the story online about a man who got himself killed over a girl that he picked up, you know, just because he wanted to be able to satisfy the young girl. You know, those things I think are not worth it. So, and well, I talked about secrecy already, and this leads to distrust. And these are the dangers of pornography because it's a chain reaction. You have decided to lock your phone. You don't want your spouse to see what you're viewing on your phone, and then she's beginning to doubt you. And then the moment you allow doubt in your marriage, you begin to second guess everything, just like we were told in one of the discussions that we had on the WhatsApp group. You begin to second guess. You understand? And when you second guess, there's no trust, and then it leads to instability in your marriage. And then everybody begins to suspect each other on top nothing. Do you understand? So you may want to say that looking at pornography material does not hurt anybody. After all, there's no place it is said in the Holy Book that you should not see all those kind of excuses. But one thing always leads to the other. And then by the time it gets to its final destination, you will now realize that the devil had been setting you up long time ago. You didn't just realize it. May we not be victims of all of these plots of the devil. In Jesus' name. Another thing that I put down, another thing that I have down here is pollution. So just imagine that your child picks up your phone, right? He wants to do his assignment, so you gave him your phone, or you gave her your phone to be able to Google and check out some things for his assignment. And then in the process, one of the sites that you visit secretly pops up, and then your child sees it. All right, Mr. Tuba, so I see your hand. And then your child sees it. Do you know what registers in that child's memory from that moment forward? You don't want to do that. It pollutes your home. And then one of the goals that we have is to be able to raise new generation, glorious generations out of the families that we have now, so that we can have a better society. Mr. Olatubosun, please, you have the floor now.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir. Good evening,
Hope
sir.
you can hear me.
Loud and clear, sir. We can hear you. Please go on.
My name is Olatubosun Oluwadari. Okay, is very good. I would like to ask, why would the man go into pornography? I think we should trash that out.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. I heard that. Why do men go into pornography? Why do men go into pornography? Many times.
What started? So is it that every man wants to go into it? Okay, so we can just continue like that. So because we can talk about pornography, we talk about the.
Yes, are you done? Okay, so why do men go into pornography? I think some
led. So maybe we see drop.
Okay. So I'm trying to keep track of time, and then we have 8 more minutes to the end of this conversation. And the reason I think people fall into these things is one of the known bad habits. Actually, do you understand? Generally, secular thinking. It's not right. Why do men go into pornography? Men go into pornography majorly because they heard about it. They saw it in passing. Do you understand? Some of them probably just went to visit a friend and they saw it. Like I said before, some children just picked up their daddy's phone, they saw it on it, and then they long for it. They always want to go back to it. Do you understand? And then these are part of the reasons I called it pollution when I was talking. Ways that people get themselves into pornography. And then there are a lot of pornographic materials, printed materials. That's where it starts. And then it goes like that. Children, if you notice, you watch movies and you see they are rated 18. They are rated 18 for a reason. And they advise you parental control, parental guidance advice, because they don't want children to see some scenes in those movies. And then when they see those scenes, they begin to long for more of those scenes. And then the devil now, ordinary internet, whatever you type nowadays, whatever you type often, whatever you check on Google, whatever you look out for on YouTube, that's what YouTube keeps suggesting to you. So That's the way it works. Once you develop, once you see it, and then you are interested in it, you go for it. Then it begins to come to your mind. Everything around the world now suggests it to your mind. See it here. So, and there are a lot of avenues that you can see it. And then before you know it, because you have done it over and over, you get addicted to it. And then it becomes something that is difficult to break. You just do not know how to go about it. And this is how I think people get into pornography. I don't know. We still have 5 more minutes. If anybody has any other ways he thinks people get into pornography in the first place. Is there anyone? All right, so that's how I think people get into pornography. But we cannot now allow that to continue. So you know about pornography now. You're probably addicted to pornography, and then you want to cut it off. You don't want to do it again. How do you do that? Yes, you can determine in your mind not to. You can begin to program your mind to look away from whatever appears to be like it. Do you understand? And then now you are married, because this is the married. Hello, this is the married. And then you are married now. Your biggest, your best sex toy is your partner. You don't need any pornography. Just the past week, we talked about a lot of things that, that can enhance, that can help us have better sexual experiences. And all of these things are natural. You don't need the aid of any movie star in any of this that you want to do. You want to evolve. You want to be creative in your sexual adventure. You want to enjoy sex. You don't have to go the pornographic way. You have your partner, and then you guys by now need to communicate to yourself. You need to be able to, all of the dangers that we are lighted, undue expectation, trash it. Understand, first of all, that pornography is make-believe. It is not real. Your partner is real. Understand that once you do, whatever expectations that you had from your all of the ones that you have watched in the past, please trash them. They no longer apply to your wife. Do you understand? And then that puts an end to undue expectation. And then you can then move forward to say, babe, this is what I think I want. And then, I cannot go more than these so minutes. How do I improve? And then both of you can communicate and agree on ways. We shared some of the instruments of sex that lie in our homes, that we can take advantage of for our sexual benefit. And it is my deepest desire that as we conclude this topic, all of us will have a better sexual experience, and our lives, our marriage will become a lot better. I really appreciate you for your time. Is there anyone, we still have 2 minutes. Is there anyone who has anything to say? Is there anyone who has anything to say? I can see Mr. Adewumi Aladeloye is right there. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. All right, so in the absence of that, we will continue the conversation online. Let's keep it locked. Please follow us on our Facebook page, Demarried. On our Instagram, it's called Demarried Forever. We're going to be sharing the tips and the tricks that we learn from our WhatsApp conversation with everyone there. The WhatsApp conversation is just for the married people. That's all. Thank you so much. God bless you. I appreciate. Bye.